Welcome top news today.
Donald Trump will become the first U.S. president in nearly a century to end the first year without hosting a state dinner. Running for office, the U.S. leader criticized events like them, although they are viewed by many as an important diplomatic tool. Often they include a showy arrival ceremony and an elaborate dinner at the White House. Mr. Trump disparaged former President Barack Obama for holding state dinners, and he was particularly critical when Mr. Obama held a state dinner during a 2015 visit by Chinese President Xi Jinping. "I would not be throwing Xi a dinner," Mr. Trump said at the time. "I would get him a McDonald's hamburger and say we've got to get down to work." But earlier this year, on a tour in Asia, Mr. Trump boasted about the red carpets, military parades and fancy dinners that Asian leaders had provided for him. "Magnificent," he declared at one point on the trip to describe an event that had been hosted in his honor. White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders said there was no singular reason why Mr. Trump is yet to extend the state visit invitation, adding that Mr. Trump's administration hopes to schedule a state visit early next year. Ms. Sanders did not say who was being considered for the diplomatic honor. A state visit typically is offered as a sign of friendship and to showcase strategic ties between countries that are important to each other, said Anita McBride, a veteran of 3 Republican administrations who last served as Chief of Staff to First Lady Laura Bush. "The White House is the world stage to elevate that," she said. "These occasions really go a long way to solidify and strengthen relationships." Mr. Trump has often bragged about his strong relationships with many of his foreign counterparts. He hosted Mr. Xi at his Florida estate in April, treating the Chinese leader to a full dinner, not the aforementioned burger, and what Mr. Trump described as the most beautiful piece of chocolate cake. President Xi was enjoying it, the president said, while Mr. Trump has also met with many world leaders at the White House, sometimes over lunch. They do not compare to a state dinner. Mr. Trump's visit to Beijing in November opened with a lavish arrival ceremony, with Mr. Trump and his wife, Melania, being greeted at the airport by Chinese and American dignitaries standing at attention, with a band playing military music and scores of flag-waving children chanting, "Welcome." The U.S. leader was then whisked away for a private tour of the Forbidden City, which included dinner. The meal was a first for a visiting foreign leader at Beijing's historic Imperial Palace since the founding of modern China. Mr. Trump also raved about an outdoor opera performance the following morning. A welcome ceremony at the Great Hall of the People featured a military parade. Mr. Trump said the world was watching, and claimed to have received telephone calls about it from around the globe. "Nothing you can see is so beautiful," the president said at the time. Mr. Xi also honored Mr. Trump at a state banquet, playing video highlights from the Chinese leader's visit to Florida, along with clips from Mr. Trump's trip and the screening of a video of the American president's granddaughter, Arabella, singing in Chinese. The Associated Press contributed to this report. More about Donald Trump. Xi Jinping reuse content.